Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I'm Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Hey, big news the other day as announced by Don Trump Jr., and that is that his father, President-elect Donald J. Trump, was going to be supporting national concealed carry reciprocity. Wow, what a concept. I mean, you can drive across state lines and your driver's license is still good. You have every other constitutional right if you drive here from Washington State into Idaho, Oregon, or wherever state you may be to your next closest state. But for some reason, our Second Amendment rights, they seem to end at state lines. Well, perhaps no more, but there's some realities that we need to have about how this could get done. But there is a way to do it. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about the correct way to establish national concealed carry reciprocity.
Therein lies why we say in the legal defense sector that we are the most value-centered, cost-effective legal defense in the space, and we are. There's no question. Now, again, I've said before, we've got great competitors out there. They have outstanding products. We admire them. They paved the way for us. You know, we analyze the folks out there that are doing the same thing we're doing, and we took some great ideas from them, and we went down a path of believing that we were going to do it with a service aspect, a servant's heart, and we have again. Our number one goal has been to serve others first in a way that the industry hasn't seen.
Right to bear, that's right, legal protection for self-protection. Listen, good lawyers aren't cheap, cheap lawyers aren't good. You're not truly prepared unless you have right to bear back you. You will always get an attorney-answered hotline, so you will always have a confidential phone call. There are no cap limits for either civil or criminal defense. This covers all forms of self-defense. So from a fist to a firearm, from a fat lip to a dead body, you are covered, and you will have some of the nation's most passionate 2A attorneys in your corner fighting for you. And right now, if you visit my friends at protectwithbear.com and you use the promo code WGL, you will receive 10% off. Listen, you need to protect yourself so that you can protect them. Visit my good friends at protectwithbear.com. Okay, America, this is what we're talking about. President-elect Trump is getting everything in place and making a lot of announcements. One of the things that we've been hearing from the Trump camp is that he will be in huge favor of a national concealed carry reciprocity. Hallelujah. But here's the thing I want everyone to understand. He can be in favor of it all he wants. But the last time I checked, the president doesn't get to draft or create legislation. No. Instead, what we would need to do is have an act of Congress. Oh boy, here we go, right? Okay, but let's talk about House Resolution 9534, because we already did this video right here. And for those of you who may recall, 9534, sponsored by Representative Thomas Massie out of Kentucky, worked very closely with the good folks over at the National Association for Gun Rights. So I'll put a plug in for them as well. Link down below to show them some love. They worked very closely. House Resolution 9534, if enacted into law, would actually create a national concealed carry reciprocity program. All right. And it is federal law. And so therefore it would supersede, or pardon the pun, trump any state law. Okay. Now, this is what you need. You actually need a piece of real legislation, because we know if it could pass out of the House and then it could pass out of the Senate, President Trump has already promised that he would sign it. Now, what specifically does the bill do? First of all, I want to commend Representative Massie. The bill is just a little over 4 pages long. And candidly, the first 3 pages is a little bit of fluff. So let's just get to the meat of the bones. The language of the bill, if enacted in this form into law, would read as follows. No state or political subdivision of a state may impose a criminal or civil penalty on, or otherwise indirectly dissuade, the carrying of firearms, including by imposing a financial or other barrier to entry in public by residents or non-residents of that state who are citizens of the United States and otherwise eligible to possess firearms under state and federal law. The law would also then state, any statute, ordinance, regulation, custom, or usage of a state or a political subdivision of a state that criminalizes, penalizes, or otherwise indirectly dissuades the carrying of firearms, including by imposing a financial or other barrier to entry in public by any resident or non-resident who is a United States citizen and otherwise eligible to possess firearms under state and federal law shall have no force or effect. And then remember, this deals with being able to carry a firearm in public, so the legislation would define that permissible area as... The term public is used in this section. 1, includes any place held open to the public, regardless of ownership, but in the case of privately owned location held open to the public, does not include a place where the owner communicates clearly and conspicuously a prohibition of firearms on the premises, and 2, does not include a place where screening for firearms is conducted under state law. So this would not supersede any gun-free zones or sensitive places and still would allow private property owners the ability to prohibit or restrict firearms from their property. Okay, for those of you who geeked out on the video we did a couple of months ago when this bill first started kicking around, we always talk about here, hey, great idea, what's the likelihood it actually becomes law? And we said way back then, well, it's going to depend on how well the Republicans perform in November. And candidly, they performed about as well as could be possibly expected. As of the recording of this video today, the Republicans now have officially gained control of the House. They've already gained control of the Senate. They have regained control of the White House, and they have a 6-3 majority in the United States Supreme Court. So they are sitting in a really good position. Could this legislation become reality? Yes, it could, but let us remember that, number one, the majority in the House is razor thin, and so you're likely going to have a couple of defectors. Number two, even if it were to pass out of the House, do I think it would pass out in this exact form, or do I think it'd be sent out to committee and we'd probably see some reworkings and perhaps some watering down? That is also possible. The likelihood then it passes out of the Senate, well, there's a slightly larger majority in the Senate now, but again, you're going to need all the Republicans to stay home on this issue. If, in fact, it could pass out of both chambers and get to the President of the United States, I have zero doubt in my mind that President Trump will, in fact, sign it. So it is House Resolution 9534. We're going to link it up down below. You guys want national concealed carry reciprocity? This is the piece of legislation that could actually make it happen. So we'll also put information down there so that you can track the bill yourself. If you got any other questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now. But if you don't, that's okay. That information, it's down in the description box. If you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here, cool. You click on that link right there. You let us know. If you just want to subscribe to our monthly newsletter, the ability to do all of that is down there in the description box. And then finally, and most importantly, let's remember, the part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching, and stay safe.